Hello, I'm Daniel, and this is my wife, Kimberly Graham.
And we're your money mastery coaches. We work with high earning power couples to guide them to financial harmony in their financial communication.
Utilizing the affluent synergy framework, even if you meticulously budget every expense and talk money to your partner.
Find out more at theaffluentmarriage.com. We can't wait to help you live in love
and walk in wealth.
Hey, babe.
Everybody.
Hello, all, and welcome to the Affluent Marriage Podcast. You are listening to two educators turned money mastery coaches talk about living a rich and full marriage through generational wealth building principles, authentic two-way communication strategies, and everything in between to become a couple that lives in love and walks in wealth. Your legacy starts here.
How did that feel?
Man, to say that again
after
what, almost a quarter?
Almost a quarter, almost a whole 3 months.
It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. We're almost doing like a little reboot here.
Guys, welcome back. We took a little bit of a break last time. I think
all the best reasons.
All the best reasons, seriously. The last episode we had just gotten our check of $240,000 after selling our home, which is really awesome.
And we went off the grid.
We went off the grid.
We took the money and ran.
We took the money and ran and said, peace out. No, there's a lot of things that happened in life, a lot of things that happened in our world. And we just needed to take a little bit of a break and really kind of refocus on what we want to do. And we were so excited to bring back this podcast for so many different reasons that we're going to talk about today. So first of all, I think it's important. I know you're probably going to introduce this as well.
Yeah, you go for it, girl. I love when you take initiative, take control.
We do want to explain a little bit about who we are, because some of you might not know who we are. This is your first episode that you've heard us. Maybe you've seen some other things on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok, and you're like, who are you? Who are these people? So we're going to reintroduce ourselves and also tell you about the path of where we want this podcast to go and kind of fill you in on a little update.
Hi, I'm Dan. This is my wife, Kimberly.
Hi.
We are the Grahams. We are the Affluent Marriage. We met when we were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to think about that now that we have been together for 23
almost 20 years
or something, like almost like a quarter of a century that we've been together, just having little Kim and Dan moments. It's kind of cute.
It is.
So we met at church. We were standing in line for, I'm going to just quickly describe it. Basically, we were representing all the nations in our church and all the, countries that, we provided missions funds to and everything.
He's going real deep into the story.
I am. Because people need to understand how it all began. They need to hear the origin story of Kim Dan.
Okay.
So Kim was hardcore flirting with a boy that she likened to Tiger Woods. She had a Tiger Woods thing going on.
I did. I
so she really was really feeling this guy, and she was just chit chatting, flirting, giggling, whatever little 8th grade Kim did. And her dad was there, and he was like, "No,
it's not.
We're going to squash this right now.
About that
Put
life.
A timely stop to that."
Yeah.
So he's like, "What do? We move Kimberly away from, her heartthrob, lookalike Tiger Woods, and move her to someone that is just truly not flirting material, someone that he deemed as a safe bet to, Kim would not giggle with." And moved her right on next to me, my little brace-faced Jinko jeans, Allen Iverson wristband wearing, crooked hat to the side, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air looking boy.
Amazing.
And there I was, with my Baltimore tees on and my baggy jeans or whatever. Like, man.
Amazing.
I was probably really cute.
You were really cute.
And
no, he wasn't.
He
wasn't cute.
Kim came over, and I don't know what came over me, but I was like, you know what? Maybe it was fate.
Maybe it was.
We describe it as fate. But I had recently seen Coming to America, and there's that whole scene where, like, in the beginning where there's like barking like a dog. So I just started barking. I don't even know why, but I just started barking like a dog, and Kim started laughing, and like, dude, so I just kept doing it. So
that was it.
That was what brought us together, was just,
barking like
a dog, and not like a DMX, like, arr, arr, right?
No,
like a little Yorkshire, a little Yorkshire Terrier, a little cute little puppy.
Cute. He was,
that was my
so funny.
voice.
So listen, we laugh a lot. All right. So that was just the baseline, the foundation of our relationship is that we are constantly laughing, joking, and just being stupid with each other. But we also just have a lot of fun. So fast forward, we were together for 9 years before we got married. And we were like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let's get married. When we finished college, that was around that time. We started our job. We're both educators. So we're both in elementary education and got our first teaching jobs. And so we're so excited, these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed new teachers. And there it was. We had $76,000 of student loan debt. That was all his debt that he didn't know about. Private loans could not be consolidated, and it was a little bit of a catastrophe. We were over like, how do we do this? We don't even know how to manage money effectively already with our small teacher salary. How do we add this on top of it? I was scared of debt, scared of money, scared of talking about money. And to me, money was just like, I like to spend it, but I have no idea how to manage it and how to effectively build it. For him, he was a saver, but he didn't know what he was saving for. He had no real reason for it. He
just a hoarder.
Just a hoarder. And so we didn't really have an understanding of how to communicate about money, let alone how to handle this mountain of $76,000 of debt that everyone was like, yeah, this is what you do. And I'm like, no, this is not a lifestyle that I want. This is crippling my goals of just shopping more. So we actually got into a program called Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, which I know a lot of people have this moment where they go, oh, Dave Ramsey.
Your feelings.
But listen, you can have whatever feelings you want about Dave Ramsey, but he's been around for a minute and his stuff, it works. Obviously, there are a lot of people who have been successful, and his principles are pretty intense, but they work. So that was the only perspective that we had. Now we have so many different people with podcasts and with like different philosophies, but we didn't have it at that time. And this was like 2011. So we took one of his courses.
I think we need to go back for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because you're really jumping into this. You talk about me going deep. You're jumping into this.
Listen, we got to go into like who we are.
So we get married, and those first 6 months were absolute bliss. I mean, French toast every Saturday morning, Tutti Frutti which is a frozen yogurt every Sunday evening. Like, we were formulating these routines in our marriage, and we were just like, hey, every week we, just express ourselves with our finances, and we go and do these things and live in life, as much as you can with 2 private school educators' salary, which by the way was $56,000 combined, so $28,000 a piece. And we were just living it up, buying stuff for our classrooms. I mean, for our students, like we were really doing the thing. And then it happened, right? 6 months later, those letters came straight to our door, somehow found their way to our dining table. I don't know how they do that, but they found their way into our home. And we found out exactly how much we owed. To which I owed. Okay, sure, whatever. And to which, we didn't have a plan, as you said. And I need people to understand this, the whole Dave Ramsey thing, right? We didn't have a plan, but your dad, my father-in-law, came to us and said, hey, there's this course at the church. I think you should take it. It's going to help you have a better understanding of your money. When your father-in-law, and I need you to understand this, comes to you and says, son-in-law, this is what you need to do to get a better understanding of money, even if you don't agree, which I wasn't in disagreement. But even if you don't disagree with what your father-in-law, maybe you don't like your father-in-law. I love my father-in-law. Hope he knows that. You should get some brownie points there early in your marriage. You're 6 months in. Get some brownie points. Take the class, like it, love it, whatever, hate it. I don't care. Take the class, get your brownie points. So that's basically what we did. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go against this. Father-in-law wants me to take a class. Let's do it.
So we took the class, and I feel like, to your point, you easily could have taken the class, which many people do. And they say, okay, that was good, but I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know. I might start off gung ho and then I just kind of fall off. And it's like, it worked, but it wasn't really doing the thing, for me. That wasn't the case for us. We were I think once we recognized the possibilities for us outside of the little bubble that we were living in, that we could live a life that we really wanted, it caused us to dream a little bit more. And one of the things that was really important to me specifically was having choices. I did not want to be in a corner where I was like, I can't do something. When I have my first children, I want to have the choice to stay home. I don't know if I want to stay home, but I want to have the choice to at least try it. I want to have the choice to go on vacations. I want to have the choice to have the car that I want. I wanted to have choices. That was important to me. Stability and security was important to me as well, but also the choice to be able to do the things that I wanted to do when I wanted to do them. That's what I wanted. And I think that, that course really helped us understand how we could get there, at least for me. And for him, it was really good too. I think it taught him a lot about, how to see a bigger piece of like, oh, what investing could look like and how savings could look like. And for him, and how to be a purposeful with his saving, because he was already hoarding money, but like not a lot, but like, how can I be purposeful with the money that I am saving? And so it really caused us to have conversations about the things that we really desired. So it started off with us just having better conversations about our money and having better clarity over our money. Then it turned into, okay, we got a handle on how to pay off the debt, and we could be done in the next, I don't know, decade or so, 15 years. But what if we got an additional job? What if we did this? What if we did that? And it turned into a what if, and then we tried it out and realized we could put even more towards our debt. And 28 months later of those types of conversations, we paid off $76,000. So that was like our first like pinnacle mountain moment when we recognized that we had power over how our money could be used and had power over, the wins that we want over our life. And that was really empowering for us.
High five, babe.
High five.
That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Something happened in those 28 months that we didn't realize was happening behind the scenes or in the scenes, whatever. We didn't just realize it until a lot later. We were cultivating and formulating what we know today as the affluent marriage framework, right? You talked about choice. Choice is something that is afforded to the affluent. Choice is something that's like a benefit of the affluent. That's something that they have that people who do not have the resources, they don't have choice. Like they have to do things a certain way. And you are all about choice. And what you decide to do with those choices really leans into your financial archetype. And we didn't realize that that's what it was. That's just something that we've created over the last year. But everyone has their own unique money language. They have their own unique money archetype. And your archetype points to your priorities with money, what you want to spend your money on, your beliefs, how you believe your money should be spent on a daily basis, your values. And we do a lot of value-based budgeting in, I'm going to say our program, but in our philosophies and our beliefs in our lives. So that is something that we cultivated. And just real quick, there's 4 unique money archetypes: the expressionist, the preservationist, the strategist, the altruist. You're one of those. Primarily, you dabble in the others, but you're primarily one. We'll find out all about that later. But that is something that we formulated in those first few years. And I think that's a really key difference in the success of some of the people that came through that program. There were about 20 couples, I'd want to say, in that program that we went through. And how many people were successful and stuck with it? I'd say 3 couples. Maybe. Most of them fell off. And Kimberly and I are not Dave Ramsey haters. No. But we're also not Dave Ramsey enthusiasts, right? Disciples, that's a good word. Yeah. There's a lot of things that he teaches that we're like, okay. He always talks about going to get like a beater of a car, right? And the figures that he throws out for a beater of a car is like a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000. And I'm like, dude, take $2,000-$3,000 and go try to get a beater car right now. No. You're going to be grabbing like a 96 Honda Civic, right? It's not going to be cute. It's going to have 350,000 miles on it. And you're going to drive that thing and it's going to break down 1 mile later. And you're going to put another 1,500. So really, when you're looking for like a quote unquote beater of a car, it's going to be like $10,000 in today's money, right? It's going to be $10,000 to $12,000 to get that car that's going to get you from, it's not going to be cute. It's going to get you from point A to point B. It's going to be like a 2008, 2006. It'll be semi-reliable, but like things like that. Like, I feel like
we've definitely made some changes in our philosophy, right? It did help us in the first part of us getting out of debt. And we definitely attribute that to understanding, his baby steps. That was really impactful for us. But when we started to reach out to, other financial coaches, advisors who supported us in helping us understand, what should we do next with our money? How do we make the best of it? How do we create more choices for ourselves? We learned lots of different methodologies, philosophies, changes. We read lots of different financial books at the time as more people started talking about it, that it really helped us kind of create our own philosophy and kind of like build this, kind of smorgasbord of like, we can create our own money philosophy that matches our values, our goals, and what we want for our future. So that's kind of how we landed. So like when people ask us like, do you only teach Dave Ramsey principles? No, we teach a lot because everybody's different. And so as our educational background is, we have our master's in education. Girl. Every learner is different. We all have different learning styles. Yes. And so we want to be able to help each client that comes through working with us that you're going to find the way that works best for you. And we're going to help you cultivate whatever that looks like for your learning.
We don't sip the Dave Ramsey Kool-Aid, but we don't hate on Dave Ramsey because it worked for us.
It did.
And it works for other people. 8 billion people on the planet. Not one person is going to learn about finances and manage their finances in the same way. You could probably group some people together, but everyone's unique. Everyone's different. Everyone's novel, right? We always say this as educators, at least I do. I can't take last year's teaching and apply it to this year's learners, right? They all have their own novel personalities, their own unique learning needs. I have to be better. I have to do something different because if I try to copy paste last year's, teaching to this year's students, it's going to hit different for them.
Yeah.
They're not going to see the same success because it's not custom tailored to their needs.
Yeah.
So the same is true with any financial program, right? Whether it's, the Budgetnista, Dave Ramsey, name some others, Kim.
Tori Zenlab, there's the Budget Mom. There's so many of people out there who are amazing at what they do.
Explore them all. Seriously.
Explore them all.
Don't just, if you're just coming here and you're listening to Kim and Dan, you're doing it wrong because that's not what we do as educators.
So many different ways.
We want you to find the style that best matches you. Ours is very value-based, right? Dave Ramsey is very much like financial peace. So some people are very much like financial choice or financial affluence, right? Like
it's all about banking big
who's our
risk.
girl? We should all be millionaires. Rachel Rogers, right? She's all about like, dude, if you want it, take the risk, go get, like, everyone has a different methodology and you got to find the one that aligns with you. And
they're all successful.
And they're all successful. So you got to find the thing that's successful for you.
Exactly. So that's a little bit about us, about how we got to where we are in our program. We have the Financial Harmony Mastermind that we've been able to help our clients in several different modalities. So I started this business almost 5 years ago. I started when I had my first daughter. We now have 2. And when I have 3,
hey.
Well, we don't have 3. We don't know if it's a girl.
One's in the chamber.
But I am pregnant.
Yes. We don't know.
Surprise!
What it is. We never find out until the very last minute. Yeah. We have our Lion King moment. It pops out.
It's great.
The doctor lifts it up in the air. No. Wait, what do they say? Pink pajamas.
Pink pajamas, penguins on the bottom.
Pink pajamas, penguins on the bottom.
Pajamas, penguins on the bottom.
So we don't find out until that moment, and the doctor's like, "It's and it's always a girl. So it's not really a surprise. It's gonna be a girl.
He thinks it's gonna be a girl. I don't know. I've
already had my girl name picked out.
Yes, we do. All set. We do have our girl name picked out. So there's your surprise for that, which is also why I took 3 months off. But
going back 7 years ago, it all began.
So I got into the business working actually in direct sales, which typically a lot of women do when they are like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be home with my kid. I'd been doing the business. Yeah, I've been doing the business for a couple of years before that, but I just decided to venture off on my own. And it was then that I learned that a lot of entrepreneurs had no idea how to manage their money in their business, let alone in their home finances. So as I started having more conversations with these women that were making really good money from their sales, but not understanding how to manage it, I was like, what is going on here? And so I started to recognize that I had a passion for that. I realized that I actually had a skill set to help them understand how to effectively manage their money in their business and in their home. I then ventured off into talking to coaches who were in that system as well, who were making really good money, but not understanding how to manage their business or home finances. Then their spouses would come in the picture. And when their spouses would come in the picture, especially when we're talking about home finances, there was a lot of conflict, a lot of tension when it comes to talking about their money and showing up as an authority with their money. And with a lot of these female entrepreneurs that I was working with, I was really empowering them to have better, more effective conversations with their spouse to, really help them see like, no, you actually have a say in what's going on with your money. You don't have to feel like, as a woman, society has told us that we are not as strong in our finances, that we, shouldn't, that all we do is shop, that all we do is spend. But we actually have a really big skill set that is actually beneficial to investing, to saving, and it should be empowered. Like we actually have a really big advantage that we just don't tap into because society hasn't like helped us tap into it. So I am all about the movement of empowering women in their marriages to make sure they're having more effective conversations where they know they can show up and they can have discourse that is actually helping them build more wealth and more affluence. So my husband last year kind of came alongside and was like, why are more of these men specifically?
It baffled me.
I
didn't understand. And maybe it's because we've been in this like cute little bubble for the last, 13 years this year that we'd been married, that like we just had such great conversations around money. And then when you started working with clients and like there was this, this conflict between the partners, I was like,
skepticism specifically.
What is going on? Like, why are you so against the notion of your partner becoming better with money, becoming a better investor, a better spender, a better income earner, a better everything, like better tracker and allocate? Like what is this notion? Why is this bad? To which it didn't make sense to me. Then I started looking up data and I saw the statistics and I was like, wait. So, and this is in regards to divorce, over a third, 38% of partners divorce over finances. And even more, 58%, almost 2/3, over half of partners divorce because of communication issues. And it's never just one thing,
and
right? It's always
more than one. Those communication
but think about, those are the people that split up. How many more people are still together, but they're just trying to figure this thing out?
Yeah.
Right. And that's our why right there. That's why we do this. Because there are people who are still together who suck with money, who suck at talking, and they don't know why they suck and they want help. And that's what we try to provide. We try to help people have better conversations around money through strategic communication, through generational wealth building principles. Those are the things that we use to help you come together, right?
Yeah.
Once you know who you are, and this is really where we get into the values, once you know your archetype, when you know your values around money, you know who you are, you know who your partner is, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like that's what's going on in their head. That's what's going on in their brain. That's why they do the things that they do. It makes so much more sense now. Like when you know your learner as a teacher, right? You can custom tailor your lesson plans to that learner. So you've got to learn your partner, just like we have to learn you as a client. And once we understand you, once you understand your partner, you can start to make those affluent decisions where you can have choice.
Harmony. Oh my gosh. And harmony as well there too. And so that really became the thing that was really important to us. So I started working with more couples. He started coming alongside. So many things to share there too. But we actually started to recognize that we helped our clients pay off and save over millions, almost. I'm going to say it because it's so close to $1 million, being able to put back into their own pockets because it's not leaking out of their money.
Can you say that number again?
Almost $1 million, y'all, over the last 3-4 years that I've been doing this consistently.
That's insane.
Helping them become completely debt free, helping them have more money in their savings accounts that they're not draining every time that there's an emergency because they actually have an allocation for those things. They're more organized. They talk a lot about money and they're able to do it without fighting, without rolling their eyes, without feeling distrust. I have met with couples that started off with these secret accounts because they just didn't want their other couples to know about it because they didn't know how to manage it. And now they're able to bring that all together and they have more openness, more trust, more communication. And that builds a stronger marriage. So we're saving marriages out here, y'all. It's absolutely phenomenal what we're able to do. And that in case when they have more money coming to them instead of going towards toxic debt, they're using their debt effectively. They're investing more. They're going on more vacations and cash and not coming back and going, oh no, the vacation followed us. It's phenomenal to see how the shift happens when they understand how to work together in their finances as a team, as opposed to being separated in their finances.
All of that. Everything you just said. All of that. Love that. And I'm going to just call it like it is, babe. That's you. Because I came into the fold last February. I said, you know what, babe, I see the work that you're doing. I didn't realize you were close to $1 million and putting money back into their pockets. That's insane. but I knew that you were doing big things. And I was like, you know what? You need a platform.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find a way to provide, is it a mouthpiece? Like you're the instrument, maybe on an amplifier. I don't know where I'm going with these analogies. But I was like, you know what? Let's do a podcast. And my whole point of the podcast was just exposure, to find another source, another avenue for you to just share your wisdom and your teachings, because I saw the change that was happening for other people. And I wanted more people to experience that change. I wanted more people to hear about it. So everything that you just said in your business, like that's not me. That's you. Like I just came into the fold. Like you are a queen. 6 figures, from startup to 6 figures in less than 2 years. And you are changing lives in the process. And then, you know, I was like, she's killing it. She's crushing it. So what do we need to do? We need to take this and put it into a written form, right? So last year, in the fall, starting in September, we started putting together a book called Wealth Happens Here. Yeah. You can't find it yet. Now, maybe you're listening and it is out. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it is written. I am on my 5th edit. I'm going through it, rereading, adding things, changing things, making it just right. But it is literally a power couple's guide to financial harmony. We're in a sense, we're taking you on our client journey. Yeah. This is where we start with our clients. This is what we go over. And this is what we work through, starting with understanding yourself as a learner, as a financial, you know, with money, and working you all the way to harnessing the power of financial strategy and executing flawless financial routine, right? This is the end game, the end goal. But, you know, it starts with knowing yourself and knowing your partner. And we've written this book, this client journey, and Kim is working on her portion. She does her little like touch at the end of every segment.
It's really good.
And it's, man, so we're excited to share that with you guys.
It's going to be, it's a really great project that we're working on. And it's a passion project. And honestly, this podcast and the book is his passion project.
And it's all to give you a platform.
And it's, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you so much.
You're a queen. People need to know it.
Stop it.
You're a big deal. I will never stop it.
I love him so much. But honestly, like it really is a great accessible way to kind of see how do you become the affluent power couple. It's more than just you becoming really well with your money, but when you have a partnership with your money, that's really where the magic happens. And regardless of what you remember from growing up, what your parents did with their finances, what you think society says you should do with your finances, it's very one-sided. It's very rigid. You can build your affluent lifestyle in a way that makes you and your partner so happy, so content, so satisfied. It's definitely possible. And that's what we want to be able to help build more and encourage more couples. And, you know, I know you might be thinking, okay, well, you've told me that you've paid off debt. You paid off $76,000 in 28 months. Okay. You're educators. So we know you didn't make a lot of money when you did that, but what else have you done?
Like, that was the first 28 months. What else
we
you
had
got?
A couple that,
what else you got?
We had a couple that was, we were doing a sales call with them and they were like, what have you done since then? And I'm like,
that question.
Loved that question. I was like, let's talk about it.
I love talking about myself.
Let's talk about it. So, one of the first things we did after the ripe age of 25, becoming completely debt free, we have a fully funded emergency fund.
Because we bought a dumb dog.
That's a previous episode. That was one of the dumbest things we did. But yes, we bought a dog. But we bought a house. And so we had a really healthy down payment, put it towards a house that was intended to be a rental to give us more autonomy and passive income. We lived there during the first pregnancies, building our family and all of that stuff. We paid off 80% of it in 7 years. And then this past year, an insane opportunity, the way that the housing was, it was like we had a choice, which is a beautiful thing, to sell it or rent it. And selling it seemed like the thing to do. We got over $240,000 in return on that investment. It was insane, the amount of money we were able to get. And so that is kind of like our first, like, we did this. This is pretty awesome. And well, actually our second one after paying off all of our debt. We gone on several vacations. We just went on a very hefty trip to Disney. We went on the Disney Wish with our girls. We've gone on several different vacations, like tropical vacations, fun vacations there. We've invested a lot. We are fully invested in our
Roth IRAs.
And we also are just constantly refining things that we want to be able to do to create more passive income. And that's always something that's important to us. So there's a lot of things that we've done
Other
in our
things to add
very
in
short,
there.
how many, 13 years of marriage
Right.
that
So student loans paid off.
Yeah.
We saved up a 6-month emergency fund. We saved up a 20% down payment, bought our condo, did
Cars
tons
and cash.
of renovations to it. Yes, bought our cars in cash. Our last minivan, we did not pay in cash. We paid most of it in cash. But then once we sold our house, we paid off the rest of it. Man, we, like you said, the investments, both of our children are in private schools, so we're paying for that. So yeah, and the trips, like we're definitely doing the thing. So yes, we are like the living embodiment of the affluent marriage because we have choice.
we can dream it.
Notice we never said a dollar sign,
Nope.
right? Affluence sometimes is considered like you have to have a certain threshold of money. That's not really what I'm trying to present to you.
Again, this goes back to values.
What do you value? Are you living your lifestyle the way that you desire? Do you have choice? Do you have your values, your beliefs, your priorities in check? Then you're living a pretty affluent marriage if you are.
Yeah. There's so many things we could say about that. Go to some of our previous, if you're like, how do I do this? How did you do all these things? Our previous episodes all talk about the how-tos of things, a lot of how-tos of how even building a business. How do you network? How do you build a business? How do you manage your money in your business? How do you have conversations with your spouse? How do you start your budget? How much should you put in your budget? How much should go in your savings account? There's so many how-tos in our previous episodes. The titles really tell you exactly what it is.
Literally a year's worth of podcasting.
Yeah.
Right there for you on YouTube, on any of the, streaming services, platforms,
podcasts.
It's yours.
It's all yours. So you can go ahead and binge that, and they're really fun.
But our content is changing. So we're not going to really be doing how-tos anymore. That's why it's all there. There's a year's worth of how-tos. Go look it up. You can see how to budget, how to all of that. What are we doing now, Kim?
So right now we've decided to kind of like switch gears a little bit. One of the things that I really love to do is like have a vlog. I love vlogs, but I don't like editing. So podcast seems to be a perfect place for this to talk about what's going on in our life, because there's always things shifting and changing. Business is always shifting and changing. So talking about like the nuances of building a business together, but also talking about how, we're overcoming certain things in our life, especially bringing a third baby into the world. How do you handle that, right? We're also going to bring in other couples. So we've done a couple of installments of Better Together Tuesdays, which might not be on Tuesdays, but I still like the name. They might drop on Tuesdays. That might be the thing for them. But anyway, it's Better Together Tuesdays where we talk to a specific couple and we ask them questions about how they have overcome something in their marriage and how they have decided to come together to overcome it, as opposed to what many do, which is separate, go together, or, be separated and go, I'll do it myself, right? So how do you come together to create this partnership? So we have a lot of those already. You can go check them out, but we have a lot more couples that we wanted to connect with, and so you're going to see that as well. And yeah, there's a lot.
No, I love it that this podcast is going to be more about just two educators turned money mastery coaches talking about their life, talking about their past, how we conquered things, how we overcame things, how we made our way through things.
I think even talking about
debt,
client situations,
for sure. Talk about what's going on in life right now. How we're coping with the rising costs of groceries and inflation and vehicle purchases and all of that. Like there's just so much that we deal with day to day that we can bring to you and talk to you about, and see how you can reflect on that and make changes within your own household.
Yeah. So if you are interested in that and you think that would be a really fun thing to kind of listen on your drive or while you're working out or, while you're hanging around the house, we're so happy that you could join us and be here and just listen and recognize that you're not alone, and also recognize that it's possible for you to take that step, to take that move, to
have choice,
to have that choice, whatever it is that you want for your life. It is absolutely possible. And that's what we want to be able to be a beacon of hope for. So that's us in a nutshell. What's happening in our life. There's a book, there's a baby on the way. And
it's worth noting that a lot of this podcast will also refer back to the book once it's out. We'll say, hey, if you want to know even more about this subject, you could totally go check out this component in the book. It's pages, whatever to whatever, and you can go check it out. It's right there for you. We are just trying to help you live in love and walk in wealth. All right, guys. So, hey, you guys take care. Thank you guys for listening to this first installment. We're going to have more for you every week. There will be those Better Together Tuesday interviews with couples. There'll be so much coming, guys. So stay with us. Check it out. Go live in love, walk in wealth. Take care, y'all.
Bye. Bye.